Hiya, I'm Mocha, and this is Stories from Before. I was perusing your internet, looking to learn a bit more about you all, and I found that you also have mosquitoes. While yours are much smaller, sneaky little devils, the mosquitoes here are much the same, just bigger. Much bigger. While I was doing my research, I found this lovely origin story. I think there's an old saying that goes well with the feeling I got from this story. The saying goes, when it rains, it pours. Tonight, our tale takes us into the realm of the old times, where a living was made in the wilds. Now, sit back and relax while your girl regales you with tales of old. Hush, it's beginning. The Legend of the Mosquitoes. Every year, as the warm weather returns, an unpleasant accompaniment to balmy climes also makes a reappearance: the mosquitoes. The Haudenosaunee have an explanation as to why these pesky creatures torment people during the milder months. A long time ago, on the opposite shores of a river in the Haudenosaunee County, two giant mosquitoes came to rest. These mosquitoes were as big as a pine tree. Oh, well, that's a little bigger than they are where I live. As the Haudenosaunee paddled down the river in their canoes, they were vulnerable to attack by these hideous giant bugs. As the people passed by, the mosquitoes swooped down and attacked the canoeists with their beaks, killing many. Are they called beaks? I've always called them suckers or needles, and I suppose beaks make sense too, though. To avoid these assaults, the Haudenosaunee simply changed their route, avoiding this river altogether. Oh, no. You can't dodge mosquitoes, or most pests for that matter. Best to take care of them when you find them. But it was to no avail. See, the mosquitoes moved to other venues to seek their prey. These continued attacks caused great problems for the Haudenosaunee, who used the waterways as a main means of transportation. The people never knew when or where they would be attacked and devoured by these creatures. The Haudenosaunee had had enough. They formed a war party to find and destroy the evil monster bugs. Two great canoes filled with the bravest warriors were launched and sent to kill the beasts. Oh, good. I prefer fire for killing mosquitoes, but an army could help just as much. The warriors were well armed for battle with bows and arrows. Fastened to their belts were their war clubs and knives. They bravely went out to fight their foe. They did not have to travel far. After paddling only a short distance down the river, the attack began. The beak of one of the mosquitoes pierced through one canoe, sinking its passengers. In retaliation, the warriors in the second canoe filled the air with arrows. The battle that ensued was horrible. The warriors bravely fought on, but the mosquitoes seemed to be at every turn. Within a short span of time, more than half of the warriors had been killed. Those who remained were determined to die courageously. Leaving their canoe, they planned to attack the creatures on the land. The warriors took cover behind trees and bushes surrounding the mosquitoes. The evil beings were unable to retaliate as they could not reach the warriors through the thick bushes. The Haudenosaunee sprayed the air with their arrows, repeatedly piercing the flesh of the creatures. Anyone else imagining an hour-long shootout with a tree-sized mosquito trying to eat you? That's what I'm seeing in my head. As the battle raged on, the warriors' supply of arrows was depleting. The mosquitoes, however, could resist no longer and, deeply wounded, fell upon the ground. The warriors struck the beasts over and over with their war clubs until the mosquitoes' bodies were torn to ruins. I have a sudden desire for a giant fly swatter. Suddenly, the air filled with a swarm of tiny mosquitoes, buzzing around the warriors' ears. These tiny creatures had sprung forth from the blood of their huge predecessors, and they, too, were fond of human blood. No, never mind the fly swatter. Fire. This requires fire. To this day, the tiny pests attack people in retribution for the Haudenosaunee assault upon their ancestors. Ew! Well, that's the end of the tale, but I don't really feel any better. I guess it's a fitting story for mosquitoes, though, and I can appreciate that it was short. I'd rather not spend all night talking about pests. Well, that ends our tale for tonight. Did you like our story more than I did? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Join me again next week, and I'll tell you another. Until then, all eyes on you, sweetie.